Well, good afternoon. This is Houndog Steve wishing you a very pleasant afternoon. And I thought we'd just do a little bit of a walk around. And as you can see, we have had quite a bit of snow this year. It's been quite a change from previous winters. This time, February last year, we actually had above zero and rain coming down. Anyway, last night we got another 1.5 feet of snow to add to the 2.5 feet that we already had down on the ground. And remember, most of this stuff actually all disappeared in a rainstorm that we had the second week of January, and it has all come back again. Anyway, so welcome to Canada's winter wonderland. Let's go take a little look around, and we'll have a chat as we walk around. Okie dokie, here we go. Yeah, as you can see, it is snow everywhere. We're just waiting for the snowplow guy to show up. The chickens are not too keen. Now you know how we get the term all cooped up. They have been in the coop and they haven't really left this area for, I don't know, probably 2 months now. Jazz has just got to check out the chickens. So they just stand at the door. Let's throw a little grain down on the floor for them. There you go, there's the Wyandotte rooster. What a handsome boy he is. And it's funny because this chicken, he was one of the roosters that ran off and spent a couple of days in the bush and came back with a bit of a limp. He was one of 3 roosters that we had. And you know, the other 2 got eaten by not quite sure what, whether it was a fox or a coyote, but this is the only guy left, so he is now king of the roost of his 2 Wyandotte girlfriends and his 2 red sex-link girlfriends. Anyway, I'm getting a couple of eggs a day from these 2 girls, but these Wyandottes have refused to lay so far. They're getting on for about, I would say, 8 months old. So I don't know whether they're going to lay. We'll see when the weather gets warmer. Because just as they were about to start laying, we got into winter, we lost the light, and it got a lot colder. So anyway, I can highly recommend the Wyandottes. They are a good meat bird, and they do lay, and they will brood. They will hatch you new chickens. But they've been pretty happy in here. There's been no heating whatsoever. Okay, I just close the door at night time, and they hop up here on their roost, and they all huddle in this corner together and keep themselves warm. But they survived the winter. There hasn't been any issues, and I have been pleasantly surprised by that, because in my other place I had an infrared heater to try and keep them warm. Anyway, I read lots of stuff said don't do that, and so I haven't been doing that. I just give them fresh warm water every morning to drink, food, and any vegetable scraps that I have. There you go, chickens galore. I love them. Now you may well be saying that that doesn't look like much snow on the driveway, but this was ploughed at 3 o'clock this morning. And this is all about another 6 or 8 inches has come down since 3 o'clock this morning. Anyway, we seem to be clear for now, although apparently there is another round coming in on Saturday. And this is a good old-fashioned Canadian winter. We haven't had one of these in a long time. We had snow on the ground basically around about the first week of November, and like I say, apart from that rainstorm that we had in January, this snow stayed on the ground. We've had some freezing temperatures. It's about minus 11 degrees centigrade right now, which actually feels quite mild considering the temperatures that we have had. Lots of overnights below minus 20 degrees centigrade. And we've had a few, well, one morning I got up and got into the car, it was minus 32 degrees centigrade, and because I have a diesel, I was stunned. I was stunned that it started. Now, I don't know if you can see those trees over there, but I'm pretty certain this whole area was reforested, and it was actually clear cut. This was all farmland at one time. All of these trees that you see around here, you won't see a tree much older than 100 to 120, 30 years old. And so that puts you back around about the turn of the 19th century, 1890s into 1900s. So none of these trees would have been here. And no one has tended these trees, that's why they're so long and spindly. When you replant trees like this, you should really cut out about every third tree after the 5th year to allow them room to really move around and sway in the wind. Otherwise they have no tensile strength. So of course Jasmine just thinks this weather is the bee's knees. She absolutely loves running around and playing in the snow. And she seems to have no problem with the cold. And I don't know if you can see, anyone's wondering why she has that blue bandage on her front leg. It's because she knocked herself and there was a little sore there. This happened towards the end of summer, going into fall. Wasn't a problem in the summertime, but now that winter's here, she just loves to run through these snowbanks, and she's made that a lot worse. And so I've been putting the vet wraps on just to protect that little area of her leg, because the snow, although it looks soft, is actually very abrasive. So this is our driveway here. I mean, we really are in the middle of nowhere. We have one hydro line coming in, and that's it. We are the last hydro customer on this line. There's no one else further down this track. I think there's two cottages and a gravel pit. So this is absolute peace and tranquility out here. It's like I say, very isolated, and it's very easy for one day just to start drifting into another. I can't believe that we're pretty much halfway through February. It's staying light now in the evenings till about 5:30, 5:45. So there are signs of hope. There are signs of hope. So what are my plans for this year and going into the fall? Well, I've got a reasonably secure spot here where I am. I can keep my motorhome here during the summertime, and I'm going to be working on it. I want to make it as fully independent as I can. I know there's an onboard generator, a nice little diesel generator, 8 kilowatt, but I would like to run it all off solar panels if it's at all possible. And I'm pretty certain I can run everything except for the air conditioning. And you know, how often do you have the air conditioning on? As I say, I often come down here to meditate. It is such a beautiful, beautiful little spot. You can see the water is still flowing underneath the ice and snow there, and you can see the tracks of the animals as they go down to get a drink. Everything needs a drink of water. And when I came down here the other day, I actually saw a beaver cutting down a tree to put into the dam. I didn't know beavers did that in the winter time. So pretty. And again, you can see the tracks over on the far side there. Lots of animals come down here, drink from the stream. You know, we don't often notice how hard it is for animals to survive in the wintertime. And I often wonder about the small birds, how they manage to stay warm. So anyway, apart from doing the customization on the bus, I will be preparing an itinerary for a winter trip that I hope to make. I've got some friends down in Mexico, so I'm going to drive my bus into the US, down south through Texas, down into Mexico, visit my friends. I'm then going to go over to El Salvador, and across from El Salvador into Costa Rica Now this is all depending on how the political situation is, because no matter which way I go, I have to go through Guatemala, and with all of the migrants being sent back to Mexico, Guatemala, El Salvador, and so on and so forth. Oh, there's a neighbor on the skidoo. Who knows what is going to happen there. And there's my baby girl risking her life again, as per usual. Yeah, you be careful. So I figure it's probably going to be about a 3,500 mile round trip, and again I'll be documenting that all the way with the camera, and yeah, we're going to go to some interesting places. I might do main highways going down through the States, but I'm going to spend plenty of time on the back roads and exploring some of the little towns and so on and so forth that America has to offer. This is one of the reasons I actually came to Canada, you know, in 1979, a bit late, but now that I'm retired, by golly, I'm going to take advantage of it, because one of the things that I really learned when I was working in the barber shop was that, you know, we're all going to get older, we're all going to become less capable of doing these things, so if there's something that you want to do, you better get after it. You'd better get after it and get it done, because time is a ticking away, and yeah, we should all bear that in mind. So in general, it seems like the whole world has gone absolutely crazy. President Trump and Elon Musk. Oh yes, and RFK Jr. He just got nominated to the Health Department, head of the health. He was nominated and passed by Congress, so I think Big Pharma is going to have a run for its money. And as time goes by, more and more information is coming out as to how ineffective and how unsafe these treatments were, completely untested, and now we know why Pfizer wanted to hide those records for 75 years. 75 years, my friend. So yes, all of this is coming out, and I think, you know, you're going to find that it is the vaccinated, the people who've actually been injured by this filthy treatment, are going to be the ones who are going to stand up and start screaming their heads off when they finally realize the scam that has been perpetrated on them. It's probably one of the biggest scams in history. And if you saw one of my previous videos, yes, it was a NATO operation. So this was a military operation to subdue and subjugate almost the entirety of humanity on this planet. Anyway, certainly Trump is running roughshod, as I say, with Elon Musk, head of DOGE, Department of Government Efficiency, and it looks like USAID has all but gone. They have laid off literally thousands of people and retained only 800 people to run that department out of thousands. So it just goes to show you how much deadwood there was in there. And when you read the list that's been released to the public of the money that was spent on the most stupid, absolutely ridiculous things, drag queen story time in Afghanistan, you know, the mating habits of a squirrel in Iraq, it goes on and on and on and on, and millions and billions of dollars absolutely wasted on the personnel to organize this BS and then to actually send the money out to these locations. Billions and billions of dollars. Our money spent. Same thing's going on in Canada, the same thing's going on everywhere. All of these agencies are simply money laundering agencies. It's like a big laundromat in there, churning your money into their pockets. Because all these administrators, they get paid damn good money to steal your money. and I'm sure that we're all sick to death of it. And I'm not at all surprised to find out that Trump has got a 60% approval rating from the public, because he told people this is what he was going to do, and now that he's elected, he's actually doing it. And the only people who seem to be screaming about it are the Democrats, who are benefiting from this slush fund. And of course, this is breaking news. I was just listening to Elon Musk today, and they're going to be investigating all congressmen, women and senators who make roughly $175,000 a year, why they have millions and millions of dollars in assets in their bank account and can't explain where it all came from. So that's all going to be taken a little look at. And that, I think, is going to provide some stunning results. Europe is in absolute turmoil right now. Germany, I believe, is about to elect an AfD, or a far-right government, because there have been now literally hundreds of viral videos have come out from women in Germany saying they no longer feel safe on the streets. They can't walk anywhere in safety. They can't stop at a bus stop without being harassed by a certain member of the public of a certain origin. Of course, we can't say things like this out loud just yet, but I'm sure that is going to change as well. So yes, we're going to see some radical changes. We've got a Labour government in England, in the UK, that's turned out to be one of the biggest censoring communist-style governments that they've had in a long time. And to think that Britain feared the takeover of socialism during the 30s and 40s. And here we are. The Labour government is fulfilling all of the Communist Manifesto ideals. Absolutely, it's a disgrace. And Keir Starmer, well, he has no approval rating whatsoever. But I think that, look at that dog. You see how deep the snow is? She can barely get through. And that's why that little bandage is on her leg. And yet, you know, when you see videos of the rest of the world, places like Vietnam, Southeast Asia, India, absolutely booming, incredible. The economy is just the opposite of what is going on in North America here. And again, that is going to be interesting as we see wealth being transferred from this side of the world to the other. Another thing which I think is going to happen this year, which is going to be quite staggering, is the absolute boom of cryptocurrencies, not the least of which will be Bitcoin. I read the other day that there are 22 states in the US are now setting aside Bitcoin as a strategic reserve. President Trump has appointed a working team to study Bitcoin as a strategic reserve for the US. And so cryptos are really starting to take a hold and be recognized worldwide as an asset. Now, of course, there are lots of cryptos out there, and just about all of them are pure gambling. But Bitcoin, Litecoin, certainly not so sure about Etherium. I hear a lot of big institutions are now investing into Etherium, holding the price down, and it is going to zoom. But you know, it's very hard to catch things on the off cycle. So do be careful if you are investing in crypto, and do your research. Make sure that you know your on-ramps and off-ramps, and never leave any money or any crypto in an exchange, because if there's going to be a problem, that is where the problem is going to be. Now in Canada here we have an election going on in Ontario, and there is also a federal election coming up in May. I have a friend who is on the Elections Canada committee. She's the chairperson, and she has been told to prepare for a May election. So as soon as they get a new leader for the Liberal Party, which is probably going to be Mark Carney or Chrystia Freeland, and I can't think of two worse people And I think I said in an earlier video that whoever replaces Justin Trudeau will be way worse than Justin Trudeau. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in the election. So what else is going on? Oh, the whole collapse of the EV market. Insurance companies are just pounding EVs. The fires, the unbelievable fires. Now, you know, they don't catch fire all the time, but when they do, they are absolutely devastating because you can't put these things out. And they set fire to anything in the vicinity. I actually saw a picture of a Tesla underwater in a pond on fire, and it's still burning. I got a friend who works for the fire department up here, and he said that they've been basically just told to contain the fire and let it burn itself out. But all of the toxic chemicals, not the least of which is hydrogen sulfide, absolutely deadly poisonous. If you inhale that, buddy, you are in big, big trouble. And I think much of the green agenda is in general falling apart. I think people have realized that carbon dioxide is only 0.04% of the atmosphere. It's a trace gas, and it is not an issue whatsoever. And in fact, we need CO2 for plants to grow and flourish, and we are getting perilously close to that point where plants will not grow because there's not enough CO2 in the atmosphere. So yes, we're going to watch all of these things unfold as we travel on into 2025, but I think that this is going to be the year of people waking up and realizing exactly what has been going on. They might not know all the details, but I'll tell you, people are really getting the idea, and there's still all the publicity around the US aid situation and the amount of wastage that is taking place. I think is going to send reverberations around the world to every country except probably the communist countries. But all of a sudden, we're not hearing much about Ukraine anymore. The US has said they're not going to send any more funding to the Ukraine, and so basically Zelensky is now shit out of luck. He has to face off with the Russians. And as I've said all along now, you may not agree with me, but I don't think Putin ever really wanted to take over Ukraine. He was merely going in to protect the Donbass region, a place which is already, you know, like 90% Russian speaking. And of course, Ukraine has done everything in its power, you know, to stop those Russians having a voice within Ukraine. You cannot get into the Ukrainian parliament unless Ukrainian is your first language, not Russian. So none of these people can be elected. You know, how can you have any kind of working out that problem when you can't even have a voice in government? So I'll be watching this all unfold as the year goes by, making my plans, working out my itinerary, working on the bus, and simply enjoy retirement. You know, I know I've been busy with other things and so on and so forth, but, you know, I've been surprised. I've been retired now, officially retired for 4 years, but it's taken those full 4 years just to slow down and start enjoying life and making plans for travel, which is something I've always wanted to get back into. I was an inveterate traveller when I was a young man, served my apprenticeship on board BP tankers, went all over the world, and North America is pretty well the only country that I haven't really explored fully. So like I say, getting used to retirement takes a little bit of time, and I would recommend anybody who's coming up on that to do a little planning. You know, think about what it is that you want to do. Talk with your partner if you have one, to see if your ideas merge with each other. Okay, I'm going to stop there because I'm getting puffed. You wouldn't believe it's like trying to walk in sand and going uphill. Your feet keep on slipping away from you. So this is literally the view from my back window. Absolutely gorgeous. It doesn't get any better than this, my friends. It doesn't get any better than this. This is a healthy lifestyle out here. And that is actually another reason why I wanted to have a motorhome, a Class A motorhome, is because, you know, when you travel, you tend to lose track of your diet. You lose control of your diet. You know, you're staying in hotels and that kind of stuff, and basically you got to eat the food that's presented to you. But when you have your own cooking facilities, you can keep your diet on track. Beautiful. Peace be with you, my brothers and sisters. Hope you stay strong, stand strong, and navigate yourself safely through this uncharted waters of the future in 2025. Anyway, just a bit of a catch up there, some future plans, and yeah, take a look at the winter landscape out here in wonderful Canada, and you'll know exactly why I'm hoping to head south in the winter and have some sunshine instead of snow. So if you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, subscribe below, and in the meantime, this is Houndog Steve wishing you a very pleasant afternoon, and we'll talk very, very shortly. See you now. Bye.